Hi everybody, it's Kim Bergen-Jackson, administrator at Oaknoll, and I'm recording today on Wednesday, March 6th for your viewing pleasure on March 7th, which is, by the way, one day before our March 8th COVID anniversary. Is that what I want to call it? So what were you doing 4 years ago this week? I know what you were doing. You were not doing anything. We were getting ready to fight COVID. It's crazy to me that it's been 4 years, and I hate to belabor the point, but wow, it's been 4 years, and it's crazy to me that we're still talking about it. I'm happy to say that I don't have any staff out with COVID this week, or influenza, or RSV, so the staff are healthy. We do have a number of residents in independent living who are positive for COVID, 4 of them actually, but everybody is coming out of the isolation period today, the end of the day today. So if I was recording tomorrow, on Thursday, I could say we don't have anybody with COVID. Those are following the old guidelines of a 10-day isolation, if you remember. I said in the memo this week, and I'll reiterate today because there are some changes, the CDC came out with new recommendations on Friday that will confuse us all, I think. What they've essentially done is they've made 2 different sets of rules for one for the general public and one for nursing home residents. And because we have always treated the nursing home residents and the assisted living residents in the same category because they're all older and more frail, technically, these recommendations did not include nursing home or assisted living. So for independent living individuals who are feeling healthy and not immunocompromised, you are no longer required to isolate with COVID. Now, having said that, don't run naked down the streets because we want to be very careful. So part of the complicating factor is that your physicians and your nurse practitioners have moved on from COVID, but you're living in a community where there are compromised adults. And it's sort of like a dorm. So while I say that you don't have to isolate for 10 days anymore because that's the recommendation, you can come out of your apartment when you are 24 hours fever-free without the use of Tylenol or ibuprofen, and you feel like your symptoms are getting better. So if you're unwell, stay home. That's the new recommendation. However, if you have COVID and you have been diagnosed and you are recovering, we would ask you to wear a mask when you're out in public areas for the full 10 days because you can still transmit COVID to your neighbors while you're feeling symptom-free or pretty good. So that is the recommendation compromise I've come up with. So in independent living, you don't have to isolate for 5 days anymore. You don't have to isolate for 10 days. You do have to wear a mask. And I would recommend staying put if you don't feel well, which you already do, all of you. So I appreciate that. For the health center residents and the assisted living residents, unfortunately, the recommendations have not changed. And if they are COVID positive, they are required to stay isolated for 10 days. That is a really long time for people to be in their rooms. And so I'm really hoping that the government will catch up with the CDC and will make changes to those recommendations soon. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me, but I just essentially want you to keep doing what you've been doing spectacularly well for the past 4 years, right? So use the tools that we have available to us. Good hand washing has always been and will always be the best way to fight a virus, any old virus. The second thing that I think we have good evidence that the vaccines, although they didn't prevent us from getting COVID, they prevented a lot of people from being hospitalized. I think that we have only had 4 people hospitalized with COVID-related symptoms, and no one has died from COVID at Oaknoll, and that includes the residents and the staff. So kudos to you for staying vaccinated and up to date, which brings me to the next update. On Monday, I think, the CDC released the APIC recommendations for another booster. So if you remember, we did the clinics in the fall, around September, October, I think it was October. You got a vaccine dose that they're not calling a booster anymore. You got the 2023-2024 updated COVID vaccine, which included the variant that was running rampant in the fall. Now, Monday, the recommendation came out that if you are over the age of 65 or you are immunocompromised, you should get another dose. They're not saying booster, but it's a booster to the fall vaccine. So it's still the 2023-2024 updated vaccine. It's still widely available at all of the pharmacies in town. I put a note in the weekly memo so you'd know that you can go get it. If you're compromised, I would go get it. I got mine on Saturday. It's totally fine. So I felt like I got hit by a truck for 12 hours and I'm totally fine. My arm hurts, that's all. If you are not 65, you can wait until they make another recommendation. I think they're probably going to try and make it an annual vaccine, although it would be great if it just went away and we didn't have to do it anymore at all. So that's a lot of information, I understand, for this video. If you have questions, you can always reach out to me. I am going to ask our pharmacy to do another clinic in the spring. I don't know what their availability is for that, and I don't have a timeline yet. So if you don't mind waiting, or you got your dose later in the fall, like maybe you didn't get it till November, you can wait until I try to get something set up. For residents who are living in the health center and assisted living, the pharmacy is going to come out as soon as we can get a date. So as soon as I have updated information on a vaccine clinic, I will let you know. If you don't want to wait for me, that's completely fine. Please go get it now, but let the apartment nurse know that you are up to date. As I've said in the past, most of the pharmacies, Hy-Vee, Walgreens, Walmart, CVS, they all have an online portal where you can sign up for a shot. At Walgreens, which is where I go, they're giving Pfizer at the Coralville Clinic, and they're giving Moderna at the Muscatine Avenue Clinic, the Iowa City Clinic. So, and it tells you that on the website. If you prefer to go to one of the smaller pharmacies like Towncrest or Hardig, just give them a call and see if they have supply available. I think they will, but I know they prefer to know people are coming and don't get swarmed with 400 Oaknoll residents. So that's my update on COVID. So I said 4 independent living residents who are currently recovering from COVID in independent living, no COVID residents in the health center or assisted living, and no staff with COVID. That is the most current information I have for you right this minute. There might be somebody who's being diagnosed with COVID as we speak, so I just want you to know it's the current information that I have available today on Wednesday, March 6th. In addition to talking about COVID, which has become my life's passion and joy, I wanted to just go over a couple of things in the Acorn that I marked for us. So the first thing is that the Iowa City free lunch program, there's a story on page 8, and it says that the free lunch program was selected as one of Oaknoll's Dining for a Difference days in 2024. So if you visit any dining venue at Oaknoll on Thursday, March 21st, 10% of our dining sales will go to the free lunch program. That is awesome and amazing. I don't know if you are familiar with the free lunch program. It is, I think they serve about 150 people 6 days a week. We go on the 5th Wednesday of the month to volunteer, and it's an incredibly valuable resource for the community for people who are experiencing food insecurity. So if you're going to eat here anyway on the 21st, now you have even a better reason to eat here. The other thing I wanted to mention quickly here that I marked with the bookmark is that we have a new employee I'd like to introduce you to. Lisa Turnbaugh started with us, I think she started last week, but I've seen her every day this week so far. She has taken the billing and payroll specialist position that has been occupied by Lisa Chapman for 39 years. 39 years this year. So she has big shoes to fill, but I think she's going to be great. Please introduce yourself to her when you see her. It's funny, the irony that their names are the same is not lost on me, but let's not call them old Lisa and new Lisa. That wouldn't be very nice. So Lisa T is where I'm going to go with this one, and Lisa Chapman's Lisa C. So Lisa T, please reach out to her in a big Oaknoll way, and welcome her to our community. The final thing I wanted to talk about is the Dementia Live simulation. So as you know, many of you know, we have been offering the Oaknoll Dementia Experience to people, which is a simulation in one of the apartments here in the Central Building 309. And the intention is to build empathy and grace and compassion for our neighbors and friends and family members who are living with dementia. The apartment is set up like anybody's apartment. You come in and you put on some gear that is meant to distract and confuse you. There's headphones, there's glasses that limit your peripheral vision, and then there's garden gloves that limit your tactile sensations in your fingers. That all sounds pretty weird, but then we add household tasks. We give you household tasks to complete, and then we turn you loose in your apartment, which of course you don't recognize because you don't really live there. So it's very disorienting and confusing to people, and the idea is that this is the best explanation for how we think living with dementia might feel. It's to build empathy, as I said. We have put all of our staff through it, which I think has been really tremendous and beneficial. Lindsay Reed, our rec therapist, and Kim Atwater, our volunteer coordinator and rec therapist, have been partners with me in this effort. And Retha Haas is going to join us as certified coaches, and we are intending to open this up to the public. We've been, as I said, we saw all the staff. We've been seeing residents and family members. If you have family members who are living with dementia and you have family members who could benefit from the simulation, I encourage you to reach out to Cam Atwater and schedule a session. If you have a number of family members and you'd all like to go together, Cam can schedule a special session just for your family. The really beneficial piece after you try to complete your tasks is the conversation that we have afterwards. It's called the empowerment session, and it talks about how it feels, how it may feel to be living with dementia, and how we can change our behavior with this new perspective to enrich the lives of people that we know who are living with dementia. It is maybe one of the most meaningful things I've ever participated in, and yesterday's session, where we had 5 residents join us in the afternoon, was hard. It's hard for me to describe. It was so emotional and beneficial. So I don't want to give away too many secrets, but if you haven't signed up for it yet and you're interested, please reach out to Cam. She is the official scheduler of all experiences, and I'm grateful that she likes to do that because it's a big job. If you have family who are interested, recommend it to them. If there are organizations you feel like would be interested, you can recommend it to them. We're trying to make Johnson County a better place to live for people who are living with dementia. And that just means building kindness and empathy and giving each other some grace. So that's our current passion. We have a lot of other things going on too. I'll speak about another thing in my next video. So see, it's a teaser for 2 weeks about the Dining with Dignity program that we're going to kick off in April. So there's a lot happening at Oaknoll. I'm so proud to be a member of this community. I love the people that I work with, and I love the people that we serve, and I just very grateful to everybody. So I hope you have a tremendous week. And I will come back to you in 2 weeks, and maybe I'll have a date for that vaccine clinic. Keep your fingers crossed. Take care.